Hey y'all, welcome to the next recording of AFReats, recorded in front of a live studio audience. Welcome y'all! We are sitting here with some awesome panelists. My name is Claudine Fox and I am the moderator for AFReats. And we're also sitting in front of a beautiful and dope audience of Black and brown folks that are here to engage in the essence of what AFReats is. So the point of the AFReats podcast is to, 1, eat delicious food, 2, engage in some dope conversations with awesome panelists, and 3, connect and build community over our various cultures, again, using the vehicle of food. So I'd love to introduce our panelists today.
Okay. I'm Andre Rochester. You can find me on Instagram, Dre B Painting. But today I'm Dre B Hungry and Dre B Eating. Dre B Podcast and Dre B Interviewing. Yeah, I got hashtags. That's just who I am. The website is andrerochester.com if you'd like to see my artwork. And today I am going to taste some amazing food. I'm looking forward to it. I'm very excited to be on this podcast. This audience is full. There's like not an empty seat in the house. I'm really digging it. Thank you for having me. Shout out to everybody wooing in the audience. I dig it. Awesome. Y'all awesome. All right.
And so one question, Dre. What nationality are you and what's the lens that you'll be using while you taste this food?
So I am American with a little Jamaican sprinkled in there. I do have West Indian family. I acknowledge all parts of who I am. And you said the lens that I'll be using today?
I mean, you kind of answered that question.
Okay, I was about to say, I mean, I like food.
And Dre be hungry. Moving on. All right, so what's your name? What's your your social media handle and your nationality?
My name is Chris Presley, aka Posh Gibson, the Renegade Social Worker.
Hey.
First of all, shout out to this wonderful audience. Give it up for yourselves.
Yes.
Oh, beautiful and brown and all that shit.
I didn't know I could cuss.
I mean, it's happening.
I assume that.
It's happening.
So
we're here.
Oh, okay.
All right.
I'm excited to be here because I wrote on the board out there how food is important to me because it really brings community and family together with meals. And who you break bread with, I feel, is a very important part of who we are as human beings, because hopefully don't break bread with just any people. You break bread with people you love and care about. So, I'm excited here, break bread with these wonderful people. In terms of my nationality, Black.
Yes.
Black and hungry.
Black.
There's a common thing.
In addition to being a social worker, I'm also a writer and podcaster, and you can check out some of my work on Instagram at Posh Gibson, POSHGIBSON, or theposhgibson.com. Yeah, I'm excited to be here. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And like I said, my name is Claudine Fox. My social media handle on Instagram is at EmptyPlateFox. And I'm Haitian American and also very hungry. And excited to start this conversation and to eat some delicious food. So here's a rundown. We're gonna go through 3 different courses, an appetizer, an entree, and a dessert. And we're just gonna eat and talk about it. Y'all ready?
Yeah!
Let's do it. So are we ready to bring out the first course and introduce our chef?
Yeah.
Yes, our culinary artist.
Culinary artist.
All right. Hey, can you say your name and your nationality? Yeah, come step right here. Perfect. Yep, perfect.
Right here?
Yep.
Okay, so I'm Corinne, also known as Kake, K-A-K-E, Corinne Alexis Catering with a K, and events. My nationality. So my mom is straight from the North Philly Projects, born and raised. Wonderful Black woman. My father, however, was born and raised in Panama, and his mother was born and raised in Jamaica, and his father was born and raised in Barbados. So,
come through. Yes. Mad Caribbean.
I'm not sure what you call that, other than Black and brown. So I'm brown. So that's.
She said brown.
Do I introduce what I'm going to feed you?
So what we're gonna do is we're going
I'm not gonna
to.
tell you what's in it.
Nope, we're gonna pass each. We're each gonna get an
He doesn't get that
appetizer. Oh, he doesn't get that one. Okay.
Sorry.
Sorry.
Oh, allergies.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, for allergies.
You got me.
I got it. Thank you. So
Oh, this one's mine?
that one's yours.
Oh.
So,
See that? Look at that.
what we're gonna do is we are going to examine what we're eating. I want y'all to smell it, and then tell me what you're smelling, and then take a bite and tell me the flavors that you're experiencing as you take a bite, and then we're gonna talk about it. Okay?
So, this is definitely seafood.
Yes.
It looks like it's going to taste amazing. This looks like steak on top with some arugula, all fancy like. I'm about to get messy.
That's why we have napkins.
I'm gonna go ahead and take this bite.
All right, Chris, what are you experiencing?
I'm experiencing that I've never had people watch me eat before, so this is
That's fair. That's fair.
so I'm still on that. But yeah, definitely arugula, and there's some sort of glaze going on right there, and some sort of spread.
Good lord.
And yeah, let's check this out, folks.
So the glaze.
Y'all can vicariously live through my ear.
Yo, this right here. So this crab on this steak and the arugula, the little bread. I'm a foodie on the low, so I'm like having a lot of fun eating this right now. This tastes amazing. This like reminds me of going to seafood restaurants with my parents when I was younger. Just trying new things on the menu. Like this is definitely not your fisherman's platter kind of seafood. This is a great appetizer. I could see this in like one of those fancy restaurants where you don't have to wear a jacket, but you still gotta look nice, you know?
So what are the flavors we're tasting?
Flavors. Well, I mean, there's the crab, so I'm like,
That's real.
I'm reminded of like Maryland, Baltimore area, you know? Matched with the steak and the little bread. I don't even know what this bread is called, but
This is like crostini kind of thing.
yeah, like it's just I feel like I'm at a fancy spot getting past hors d'oeuvres and just it tastes like a good time.
So Chris, you
I'm gonna finish
mentioned
this. I need to stop talking.
the little glaze.
Yes.
What do you taste in the glaze?
It's like balsamic vinaigrette, which pairs.
Hey,
Pairs very nicely with the arugula, and it's interesting with the steak and the fish together. I can't say I've ever had anything that combined those two different types of flavors together. But it works well because it's just small bites. It's not a whole burger, not a whole meal of it. So it works. And what is this? Is this butter? What's going on here?
it's like a mayo
Yeah.
butter
It's a
kind of
mayo
thing that's
butter.
happening.
Okay.
I
And it
think.
just- yeah, that brings it all together as a base for the crostini. And yeah, no, it's a beautiful.
That's the
beautiful
bread,
whole-
crostini. I learned something.
Beautiful, just whole. It's just great. Okay, people, just great. It's delicious, and the flavors really come together in the end. So, shout out to you, Corinne.
Yeah.
Yes, that was really good.
I'm really loving the crab on top of the steak. So I had a little trouble like taking like a cute bite. It was like a kind of thing
I
that
tried
happened. But does this so the flavors and everything, does this remind you of any particular meal that maybe y'all grew up with or that you've experienced in the past?
Not that I've grown up with, but stuff that like I'll experiment sometimes in the kitchen when I'm making fish or trying to be a pescatarian. I'm failing right now, but anyway,
Considering.
yeah. But it just tastes like something that I aspire to make in the kitchen, but I haven't quite gotten down yet. Yeah, I'll say that.
Okay. What about you, Chris?
Doesn't particularly remind me of anything, but just reminds me, just in general, about how just like any sort of art form, which creating food and creating meals is an art form. Just how you can really experiment and really just put things together that creates just a whole new atmosphere, in terms of just food. So just that was a great combination. That if you had told me that combination, I'm like, I don't know if I'm into that, but
Right.
that's why it's good to have it blind and just be given it. I'm like, oh, okay, well, let me see this.
Yeah, see, I'm all in. I'm all in. Like, I want that as a meal. Like the surf and turf combination using the crab and the steak is what did it for me. Usually I'd see something like lobster and steak or something simple.
Or shrimp and
chicken,
yeah.
But that combo, the flavors don't compete with each other. They combine really nicely. And I did get some of that balsamic on mine, and that was like perfect.
I'm a fan of arugula and like just adding greens to things that maybe don't really need greens, but you want that splash of color. And arugula is one of those like spicier leafy greens that you can put on as just garnish or to spice up something that already is delicious. Is Corinne around to come and tell us about what we actually ate just now and what inspired that?
And real quick, can we give a shout out to arugula? I feel like arugula, in terms of greens, doesn't get much love. So I'm just saying, arugula, we got you. We love you.
Arugula sitting at home like, thank you so much. And touching their little leafy heart. Okay.
So it's surf and turf crostini. So it is a toasted baguette with olive oil, a garlic and herb cheese spread, arugula, and then you have the steak, which was marinated in spices. One of the things you probably taste is the balsamic vinegar, and on top of that was real crab meat.
So not even imitation crab,
no,
real
no,
crab.
We don't do imitation over here. Imitation
Beautiful.
Yes, let's keep it authentic.
No. Just because I like soul food. I'm not like I used to be a huge fan, but I feel like as a brown caterer, I'm expected to make the traditional mac and cheese, fried chicken, fried catfish. There's nothing wrong with that. However, the two things I noticed which really got me into, which I'll go into later, cooking, was that when we got with my mom's side for whatever, the family gathered around and it was soul food. But when we got around my dad's side, there was this West Indian and Latino spread. And even though that's not there, it just was different. And so I felt like you can be Black, you can be brown, and you can still have this individuality, even though you share the same country where you're from, the skin color, you can still have this individuality. You're not set inside this box. So none of my dishes really they're really inspired from my love of cooking with all types of ingredients.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Yeah. Right here. That was awesome. Yeah, that was delicious. Are we ready for round 2? Our entree?
Yes.
The presentation is amazing.
Oh, this one's for me. Look, I'm first, y'all. Right now.
This looks like crispy kale.
Yo, I got like a cupcake.
It's like a little...
All right.
Okay, so again, we are... you got a little Brussels sprout on top of yours. We're smelling, we're inspecting, we're tasting for flavor. So I really like when you take your first bite, I really want you to dig into some of the maybe herbs and spices that are kicking up for you. And as you're tasting these things, I want you to really try and dig deep and pull on that nostalgia if there are flavors that are reminding you of things from your past, okay? I just love how cute it is. Little cupcake.
Wow. Wow.
Already? You got thoughts already?
Wow. That's all I got.
Wow.
I got wow.
It's a little meatloaf cup.
Yo,
I'm so excited.
I feel like Sunday morning. It's like it's like a meatloaf, but it's not like a traditional meatloaf in any sense of the word. First off, I think it's chicken with a little kale on top. I got a Brussels sprout though, special though.
Why did you get a Brussels sprout? He did. Everyone ignore Dre for the rest of the
So, yeah, this tastes like Sunday morning came early. I feel like this is that down home cooking, but it's not like down home like what we used to.
Your arteries ain't clogging while you eating it?
Nah, it tastes healthy. I mean, there's kale on it. Kale is healthy, right? But
So listen.
it tastes like it's really good for me. And I want so much more of it because it don't not only taste good, but I know it's healthy food. It's seasoned perfect. To me, it's perfect. It kind of reminded me of stuffing when I first bit into it. But then I started to taste a little bit more, and then I figured out, okay, this is chicken. There's something more going on in here. And then I mentioned earlier, it felt like Sunday morning came early.
Yeah, tell me more about that.
That's what it reminds me
of. What does that mean?
So Sunday dinners, although they weren't necessarily a big thing in my family, my grandmother, my mother's mother, she used to cook a lot, and she'd do Sunday dinner every now and then. Especially like if there were guests. Like, she lived in Florida, so we would go to Florida sometimes when I was younger, and there was always food going. This kind of brought me back to that. On holidays on my father's side of the family, like the food that they cook, this kind of reminds me of that flavor. So like I feel real nostalgic eating this. So I'm gonna shut up and I'm gonna go back and on memory lane right now and finish my little cupcake thing here. I'm gonna let Chris talk.
You so extra. Tell me, Chris, what's going on for you?
For me, honestly, this reminds me of my sister's cooking. Because in her own right, she's a great cook, and bridges a lot, kind of what Dre was saying of traditional. I mean, my family originally was from Mississippi, that part of the country. Great Migration came to Chicago, but mixes that sort of cooking with more nutritionally viable, healthy recipes. So just there's a myth out there that healthy things can't taste great, and I hate that myth because it's such a lie. It doesn't mean that every healthy thing does taste great, but there's plenty there are plenty of healthy things that taste great or healthier things, and it's just like I feel like if I had 5 of these, I wouldn't feel guilty that I had 5 of these.
Give me a tray.
And what's going on with this?
So that's what I'm thinking about is like this roux at the top of it, or it's a roux. The roux. So I love to cook at home, and experiment in the kitchen, and that kind of stuff. Roux are actually really difficult for me because there's a whole consistency thing that has to happen in order for it to actually work. Like, it brings texture to whatever you're eating, and this is delicious. Like, it doesn't look like how my roux come out, all coagulated and shit. Yeah.
Yo. Shout out to chicken meatloaf. Chicken
meatloaf cupcakes.
Y'all need that in your life. No, seriously, that was really, really good, and I felt great eating that because there was a sense of nostalgia that came with eating that part of the meal. Food brings people together, right? Food is usually associated with the great times that you have with people that you love, friends and family. For that to remind me so much of some of the food that I ate growing up, like, I'm even more happy after eating that. But Dre still be hungry, but it's another thing.
That's a problem we're gonna solve later.
Yeah, I'm gonna fix that. I can tell you. But yeah, that was really, really good.
So you bring up something really interesting about how food brings people together, and so what I'm gathering is that that's like what it was like for you growing up as a kid, and in your adult life. Is food like the center of family gatherings for y'all?
For me, yes. my family situation is a little different from my perspective. So it means a lot more when I think about family getting together around food, because that's something that I didn't get often, right? So I look forward to those times when I'm with family, when I can eat with those people that I love and who are important to me, especially on holidays. So if there's ever a reason to get people together, I know somebody's cooking. I know I'm going to see somebody I haven't seen in a while. And I know I'm going to have a bunch of laughs. It's going to be a great feeling. And that's just what it is for me.
Cool. What about you, Chris?
I'm actually getting emotional thinking about this. Not the food. Well, the food, it's emotional. It gets an emotional response. But no, off of what Dre said, with me, food and family are also intertwined in a unique way because, I was born in Chicago, for anyone who doesn't know me that like that. But pretty much grew up my whole life in the East Coast. And so only the times I would be out there would really be for holidays. So most of the time when I would see my extended family would be around large meals and gatherings. So that definitely has a huge place in my heart because, sometimes the only time I would see cousins, aunts, and uncles would be over a Christmas dinner or something like that. So yeah, it definitely brings that up too.
Yeah, the same for me. My dad was the youngest of 9. And again, both my parents were born in Haiti and migrated to the country when they were like between 15 and 20 years old, right? Not together, but separate. And so my dad's side of the family is huge. The youngest of 9, all of them reproduced like at least 4 children each. So my family is huge. And so the cornerstones of us gathering together was really around food, and exactly the same thing. Like I knew, I grew up in Massachusetts and a lot of my family was in New York. So I knew when we were driving down to Brooklyn, it was going to be this food centered, full of laughs, a bunch of like 50 of us coming together just to exist and celebrate ourselves, and not just come together during sad times. So thank you for sharing those thoughts. I have a quote here. Let's see. And actually, it's kind of the perfect segue in between what I'm saying and the next course, is that life is uncertain. Eat dessert first. So 2 questions come from that quote. The first one is kind of a personal question. As I said, we tried really hard to gather together, not just through like funerals and the passing of people, but to celebrate life and our existence. Was that the same for y'all when you had families? It was like family gatherings?
Yeah, it definitely was. And, the refrain you just said is what I feel happens with a lot of families, where you either take intentional time to see each other, or it's like you only see each other when it's a sad event, when someone's passed away. And yeah, that definitely was my experience where, just creating that space to just enjoy each other's company and, really just build and vibe and just have some laughs and eat some wonderful food.
Yeah, just to kind of echo Chris's sentiments there, like, usually it's not usually a sad occasion when family gets together, or at least not with my close family, but it's usually a holiday. It's always something special happening for family to get together and cook and have those times. It's not something that happens like every weekend, right? And what that quote kind of evoked in me was just the thought of a little kid who wants to get dessert first, right? Right? Life is uncertain. Life is short. You want to get to the sweet part first. Never mind all the other stuff. I want the sugar, right? I want the sugar in life. I want to have the happy times, the enjoyable moments, the successes, the laughs, the hugs, the love, all of that. And skip past all of the other things that make that special. But in order to get to dessert, you have to enjoy the full meal. And that's what we're taught as kids, right? I try.
Dre be peaching too.
Dre be teaching. See, this is what happened with Dre be eating. But yeah, you gotta enjoy the whole meal. And that's what we teach our kids. Get through all the vegetables and whatever else is on that plate, and then you can have the cake after, right? But you want that cake. And so as long as you keep chasing that, and go through those experiences, you'll
Y'all
be
caught
all right.
that?
I want that cake.
So before we get the dessert, Corinne, do you want to tell us what we just consumed?
So you had a buffalo chicken loaf.
That was buffalo?
Yes. Buffalo.
Okay.
No. Buffalo sauce. Buffalo sauce. Yeah. Not buffalo.
Yeah.
Okay, so buffalo
chicken
chicken meatloaf cupcake
Okay.
with an blue cheese mashed potato frosting, adorned with
I feel like I
a
missed
kale, a roasted kale and Brussels sprout salad.
that. Forgot the Brussels sprouts.
And